I saw it in a single glance, the kind of moment that doesn't shout, doesn't explode, but quietly destroys everything you thought was real. My hand was still on the door, my breath caught somewhere between disbelief and acceptance, and there she was caught red-handed. But instead of anger, instead of rage, I smiled. And then I walked away. That smile, it would haunt her forever. If you believe in kindness, in second chances, and in the quiet strength it takes to walk away without breaking someone, take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel Ripple of Kindness. Stories like this remind us what it truly means to be human. Her name was Elena, and for 6 years she was my home. Not just a person, but a place where I thought I belonged. We built routines together, morning coffee that always tasted better when she made it, late-night conversations that felt like therapy without the cost, and dreams that we stitched together like a shared blanket against the cold world outside. I trusted her in a way that made me blind, not foolishly, but willingly. Because love, real love, asks for that kind of vulnerability. That day was ordinary until it was. I had forgotten my laptop charger and came back home earlier than expected. There was no warning, no dramatic music, no sign from the universe preparing me for what I was about to see, just silence. A strange, unfamiliar silence. And then movement. A shadow where there shouldn't have been one. I didn't burst in. I didn't shout. I simply walked inside. The scene was simple, almost painfully ordinary. 2 people standing too close. A look that didn't belong to me anymore. A truth that didn't need explanation. Her eyes met mine, wide with fear, guilt, and something else, something that looked like regret but felt too late. The man beside her froze like a thief caught in daylight, unsure whether to run or apologize, but none of that mattered. Because in that moment, something inside me didn't shatter, it shifted. I had always imagined betrayal would feel like fire, like anger tearing through my chest, demanding justice. But instead, it felt like ice. A quiet, numbing cold that spread through my veins and stilled everything. My heartbeat slowed, my thoughts sharpened, and the chaos I expected never came. I looked at her, really looked at her, and for the first time in years I saw her clearly. Not as the woman I loved, but as the person she had become. And strangely, I understood not her actions, not her choices, but the reality that sometimes people drift, sometimes they break promises not because they're evil, but because they're lost. And in that understanding, I found something unexpected, peace. So I smiled. Not a sarcastic smile, not a bitter one, but a soft, almost gentle smile. The kind you give when you finally accept something you can't change. It confused her. I saw it in her trembling lips, in the way her shoulders dropped as if she had prepared for a storm that never came. I didn't say a word. Words would have made it messy, complicated, loud. And this moment didn't deserve that. It deserved silence. It deserved dignity. I turned around and walked out. Every step felt heavier than the last, but also lighter. Like I was leaving behind not just her, but a version of myself that had been holding on too tightly. The hallway outside felt different, the air sharper. The world somehow larger than it had been just minutes ago. The days that followed were not easy. Healing never is. There were nights when the silence in my apartment felt deafening, when memories played like broken films in my mind, reminding me of what once was. There were moments when I questioned myself, wondered if I should have shouted, fought, demanded answers. But then I remembered my smile, and I realized that smile wasn't for her. It was for me. It was my way of saying I deserved better without needing to prove it. It was my way of choosing peace over chaos, self-respect over revenge. And slowly that choice began to change me. I started rebuilding, not just my life, but my sense of self. I picked up hobbies I had forgotten, reconnected with friends I had neglected, and learned how to be alone without feeling lonely. It wasn't instant, it wasn't perfect, but it was real. Months later, I heard about her. Not directly, but through the quiet whispers of mutual connections. They said she wasn't the same, that she often talked about that day, about how my reaction unsettled her more than anger ever could. She had expected a fight, tears, something loud and dramatic. But my silence, my smile, it stayed with her. Because sometimes the absence of anger speaks louder than any words. Sometimes walking away with grace leaves a deeper mark than staying and fighting. And sometimes the kindest thing you can do for yourself and for someone else is to let go without hatred. If this story touched your heart, if you've ever faced a moment where you had to choose between breaking and becoming stronger, please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe to Ripple of Kindness. Your support keeps stories like this alive. And before this story ends, I have one special request. Comment below with one word that describes how you felt reading this. Because in the end, that smile didn't haunt her because it was cruel. It haunted her because it was kind. Because it showed her what she had lost without a single word. And as for me, that smile became the beginning of a life where I no longer needed anyone to stay. I simply chose those who wouldn't